welcome back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel's all about cozy mysteries and romance books, and today I am doing my June cozy mystery wrap up. All the cozies I read in June, there was some amazing reads, and I think that this was my most read month of the entire year. There will be a separate video for my romance wrap ups because not everybody likes both. You get what I'm saying. Let's just get right into it because there are quite a few. We're talking wrap up for June in 3, 2, 1, go! Couple housekeeping things before we get started. One, I am doing a book giveaway of Dead, White, and Blue. I'm going to put it here. This is the second book in the Northwoods Cozy Mystery series by Annie McEwen, and she was recently on the channel for an interview. I will actually link that below at the end of the video. I will try to. So go check that out. She is one of the sweetest. So I'm going to be drawing on the 25th. How do you win? How do you get the chance to win? Here's how. So make sure that you are subscribed to her newsletter so you don't miss any details. Her socials, she is Annie McEwen author on, I know, Instagram. So make sure you're kind of following all those things. And then my channel, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Comment on this video, an emoji, an actual comment, doesn't matter. And you are in to win Dead, White, and Blue right there. Oh, and it is so good. I highly recommend you putting it on your next to buy list. That series is fantastic. Okay. So my first read of the month was the fourth book in the Bread Shop Cozy Mystery series by Winnie Archer, Flower in the Attic. This features Ivy Culpepper. She is a photographer, and at the beginning of the first book, she is looking for some self-care and different things, and she takes this bread making course and she loves it, and she becomes very good friends with the owner of this Mexican bakery where she took the bread course, and now she works there part-time. And there is a lot of culture in this. And I will say, this author writes some of the best mysteries. Like, there's just so many twists and turns, and you never know what's coming next. It feels like a very tame thriller. Like, I never, it's just very windy and twisty, and I really enjoy that. I also really enjoy Ivy and Miguel. This plot and this one, the reveal in it was a little iffy for me because it felt very uncozy like. So in this one of Miguel's employees is drowns, and this person was a very good swimmer, was really into swimming. So it just doesn't make sense. And so Ivy's trying to put the pieces together, and holy moly, were there, like I said, some twists and turns in this one. I gave this particular one 3 cups of coffee. I can't wait to read more in this series. It is on my SAS list. I am plowing through it because I just love the writing style and the strength of these mysteries. Next up, I read A Disguise to Die For. This was on my 24 to start in 24. It is the first book in the Costume Shop series by Diane Valier, and holy moly, I was not disappointed. I gave this like 6 cups of coffee or something like that. I'm not really sure. You can't really do that, I know, but I can here because this is my shindig. Okay, so this takes place in Nevada, and I think I said this before. I don't know if I've read any other Nevada cozies. I feel like there was another series I didn't know took place in Nevada, and I have read that, but it's very, very slim pickings. So this will be great for the Cozy Mystery Road Trip Challenge. Okay, so the main character in this, she grew up with her dad as a single parent. Her mother passed away when she was very young. I actually think at childbirth. And her father owns a costume shop. And so she grew up always working in the costume shop. She loved it. And she says to him when she's 18, I really want to work here forever. And he said, well, I just want you to go out and make sure that you're not just picking what you know instead of what you love. So she moves to Vegas for a while. She's actually living in Vegas when this book first starts. And she is working as a magician's assistant and at a casino. I love that. Okay, so her father has a heart attack, and she comes back to take care of him, and she's like, this is really where I belong. I want to work in this costume shop. It was so so good. She wears a different costume every day. She is my gal. I love Margot so much. I love her so much. Also, it was just so funny and clever. There was a part in the book where her dad like runs off without telling her because, he's had a heart attack and she's keeping her eye on him. So he leaves, and in the dead of the night to go to Area 51 to check out some alien stuff and get costumes. I love that so much. So in this particular book, The Mystery, she has there's a really rich like teen group or not teen, but early young adults in this community, and they're all competing for best party. And so one of them comes to her and says, I'm hosting this murder mystery party. I need all the like classic costumes, Sherlock and Miss Marple and that sort of thing. And he says, I need it tomorrow. She's like, there's absolutely no way. And he like slams $20,000 cash. He's like, now is there a way? She's like, yes, there is. So during the party, that gentleman, who wasn't a gentleman, I don't know why I called him that. He was not a gentleman. He was very condescending and patronizing and elitist and so many other things. He ends up dead. And although it's not her responsibility, she wants to figure out what's going on because one of her like friends of the family, their closest friends of the family, this woman helped raise her and was good friends with her dad. She is one of the prime suspects, and Margot can't let that happen. I loved it so much. Like I said, 6 cups of coffee. Margot is the best character ever. Her costumes just made my day. I want to be her when I grow up. Next up, I read number 2 in the charcuterie shop series. It's called Sliced, Diced, and Dead. This is by J.C. Eaton. I gave this one 3 cups of coffee. So our main character, Katie, she was like a tech person, and she decided she wants to own a charcuterie shop, which I highly approve of because I would love that. I love making them. I love the creativity of it. So I was really excited to see this theme. And so she opens her shop. She also moves, and her new place comes with their very own grumpy old ghost. So in this particular book, the charcuterie shop is going to host a fashion show, and the fashion director of the show ends up dead. Obviously, we know that they weren't liked, as in all cozies, and so that brings a plethora of suspects. But, Katie just wants to make sure this doesn't reflect on her brand new business that she's trying to get up off the ground. I would continue this series if another one comes out, because there's only 2 out. I will say that I listened to it, and that might have affected my enjoyment a little, because the narrator for the ghost, now the ghost is like an older woman, and the narration to me sounded like a very young scared child. Like, I'm talking young, like 6 or something. And I don't know how someone didn't say this doesn't work, but maybe it works for other people. I'm not the center of the universe. I would like to be. I need a crown and everything. But for me, it just took me out of the story a little bit, because I kept thinking, where'd the child come from? And it was the ghost. So again, I will continue it. I love the theme. It's set in Arizona, and I really like J.C. Eaton's writing, and I feel like there are a lot of funny parts, just like in the Sophie Kimball. So I would definitely read another one if it does come out. So next up, I read number 32 in the Campers and Criminals. I'm getting so close. Every time I get close, though, she puts out another book. Questions, Quarrels, and Quandary. This is, of course, by Miss Tanya Kappas. I wrote down, because I want to read this part. It says, the Cowgirl Campers and all women's vintage camping club visit Happy Trails Campground. And in this one, there is a local woman who works at a consignment shop, or owns a consignment shop in Normal, Kentucky, where nothing's normal. And she sees jewelry that she thinks is hers from one of the women that's at the campground. I wrote it down because I kept thinking. Yes. And then she ends up dead. The local woman that works at the consignment shop, after she questioned where the jewelry came from, she ends up dead. I gave this particular one 4 cups of coffee. I loved the all women camping club. I thought I got the biggest kick out of it. I thought several of them could have joined the laundry club and it would have just been fantastic. However, I did think that there was too much focus on the investigation that Hank is doing for the missing girl, because that felt very uncozy like to me. And all the talk of the wedding, because, I'm not a huge Hank fan. So all of the talk of the wedding just kind of blah, 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 blah. 4 cups of coffee for the plot in this one, and I can't wait for the next one. This series is on my SASS list, and I am going to catch up. Next up, I read Fondant Flounder. This is the 16th book in the Cupcake Bakery series. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. Okay, so Angie and Mel own Fairy Tale Cupcakes, and this takes place in Arizona as well. And in this one, 2 NFL players want to open a franchise of Fairy Tale Cupcakes, which is amazing for Angie and Mel's business. And we're getting to know the players, and the coach comes in, and he does not like this business transaction at all. Well, wait, is it the coach or the owner? The owner comes in. The coach does as well too, but the owner is the one that does not like the business, and he ends up dead. And of course, Mel and Angie are like, no, this can't happen. One, it happened in their, business with, in regards to their business. And so they don't want that, but also because they really want these 2 players to make it in the cupcake business. And so they're going to investigate. I gave it 5 cups of coffee. It was so fun. Jen McKinley is one that can really, like Ellie Alexander, and I say this every time I talk about her, like make you want to know what's going on with every side character. Like I have to know, you need to give me details on all of her employees. I always get them mixed up for the characters between Ellie Alexander and Jen McKinley. I think because they remind me so much of each other, because there's a Marty and Oz, and one of them works at Tort in Ellie Alexander's books, and one of them works at Fairy Tale Cupcakes. I can't remember who is who. Anyways, I'm like, oh, I want to know what's going on with them, and I want to know what's going on with, just all the side characters, and Mel's brothers, Angie's brothers, and just, I need to know all the details. I love coming back to Fairy Tale Cupcakes. It's just like a reunion every time. I can't wait for another one to come out. Next up, I read number 33 in the Campers and Criminals, Witness, Woods, and Wedding. This is, of course, again, by Tanya Kappas. And I gave this one 3 cups of coffee because it was all about the wedding. And I am not a huge supporter of Hank and May. I don't hate Hank or anything, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him. And in this one, I felt like some of the reasons I don't care for him as much came out. So I know he's busy with an investigation because there's kind of been this ongoing investigation over the last few books, and it's kind of reared its head in this one. And it just felt like he was willing to be like, the wedding's gonna have to wait. And there were all these things already happening to really put a damper on the wedding anyways. There was a lightning strike. There was a tornado that came through. It was like everything was against them to get this wedding going and completed. And then he just added to that. And I just didn't care for it. That's all I can say for that part of it. I gave the book 3 cups of coffee. I still really always enjoy these overall, and I of course will continue with. Next up, I read number 3 in the Italian Chef series, The Enemy Noi, right here. This is by Catherine Bruns. I wish this series would have gone longer. I read number 1 with a group of us, and I gave it 3 cups of coffee. I read number 2 on my own, and I gave it 4 cups of coffee. This one, 5 cups of coffee. It was so good. Now, it takes place at Christmas, so you probably already have a 1.5 stars, or maybe even 2 from me right there. You know this. However, I loved the plot of this one. So So Tessa, our main character in this, her spouse was just killed at the beginning of the first book. Like, he's already been killed, but she kind of finds out during the first book that maybe there was something hinky going on with his death. And so that's kind of been an overarching thing going on as well. And she decides that she just needs a change, and she's going to follow her dreams while, she's here because life is short and that sort of thing. And she buys an Italian restaurant. And in this one, it is Christmas time, and there's a guy that is in town. His name is Mario, and he is just kind of a pot stirrer for everybody. He is always trying to make other businesses look bad so people will come to his business. And he has a thing for Tessa, and he comes into the restaurant and he kind of makes a scene, and he's calling her his girlfriend. And she's like, there's nothing going on between us. I don't even like you, that sort of thing. Well, he is going to play Santa Claus at one of the town events, and people are not real happy about it, but they had to find a replacement for the Santa Claus that is normal because he had been sick or something happened to him. And Mario is found dead in the Santa costume at the town event, face down, and everybody's a suspect because nobody liked this young man. And Tessa is going to investigate. Again, I gave it 5 cups of coffee. The one thing I will say about it, I do think that there's a lot of focus on Tessa and her relationship with her husband's best friend that I think is a little too much and not necessarily needed, but I hope that there's more coming out in this series. Next up, I read The Arc of the Brand New Cheese Shop by Karina Moss. It's number 5, Fondue or Die. I love the cover on this one. Oh my gosh, I need to do a new favorites. This is probably right at the top. Of course, I gave it like 6 cups of coffee. This is by Karina Moss. And I don't want to say too much because this is not out, except I want to say go and pre-order this book because you do not want to miss it. The Yarra Glen Team Cheese travels a little bit to a next town over where they're having dairy days. I love anything festival, you know this. And there's going to be a pageant at Dairy Days, and one of the people surrounding the pageant ends up dead. Again, I don't want to say too much except that Archie dresses up as cheese. I need a job where I just dress up a costume. That's what it is. That's what it is. And read the little kids, but I dig. Okay. Anyways, he dresses up as cheese and like gets everybody to come over to their stand where they have like little charcuterie cheese boards set up and stuff. He falls in love with a milk carton, or does he? I don't know. Well, I do know. You need to read the book to find out. It is so, so good. Highly, highly recommend that you put this on your pre-order list today. So fantastic. Next up and last, I read Kill or Be Killed right here. This is the second in the beekeeping series by Jenny Martz. I really liked it. I gave it 4 cups of coffee. So in this one, Bailey and Granny Bee and the sisters and everybody at the the Honey Buzz Mountain Ranch are hosting an annual bee festival. And there's all the stuff that you would think would be at a festival. There's a pageant. There's a 3K run. There is a bake-off. And there's going to be a celebrity judge for the bake-off. And the celebrity judge ends up dead. And so, of course, Bailey has to figure out what is going on. I really, really enjoyed it. I love the women in this. I feel like they're really independent, smart, logical. I really enjoy their relationships. I thought it was a very, very fun read. I love the festival aspect and all that. So I enjoyed it. Again, I gave it 4 cups of coffee. That is my last book of the month. Okay, so my 2 favorites are one from a series. I can't ever pick one. But see, I separated it. I have one from a series I've read a lot of, and I have one from a brand new series. So see, there you go. So I had to pick 2. I had to. The first one is the Costume Shop series by Diane Valier. I can't wait to read the other two in the series. I'm so sad it only went 3 books already. And my favorite of a series that I've been reading was the 5th book in the Cheese Shop series. There is just something about Karina Moss's writing that makes me want to open the page and not stop reading until the book is over and then still want more. It's just fantastic. Let me know what your favorite reads of June were. Give me a big thumbs up for this video, and let's see, what emoji do I want? Give me your favorite flower. Your favorite flower. I don't know why. Give me a big thumbs up for this video. And until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye!